Welcome, everybody. Come on in.
That time again, huh?
It's that time again. Daria, I was just wondering where you were. Talia's back with us for the first time in, I don't know, like 20 years.
Glad you noticed.
Hello.
Hello.
Because we were just talking, Sid and I were talking about you earlier this week. I'm like, gosh, I wonder how she's doing. We haven't seen her in forever.
I'm in touch. What were you talking about?
That's right.
That we hadn't seen you.
Fair.
Yeah.
You know, college.
I finished another diamond painting 20 minutes ago.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Awesome.
still shaking. Here it is.
Nice.
Yes, look at that. Crazy David Bowie guy.
That's so cool.
The shirt was pretty tricky
Oh, I bet.
because I had this art about 10 different colors.
Good work, Petra. Really pretty.
Thank you. And I cursed you 1,000 times, Sid, for
You're
wearing, for choosing this shirt.
Welcome to the Sid City Social Club for Friday, February 12th. We're glad you're here. And we're still not back to regular programming yet. Because we have a really cool mini presentation that Sarah Baum is going to share with us. A presentation on rock climbing, I believe.
All right. And you can start the thing whenever. I'm Sarah. I am going to be talking about rock climbing today, but probably not the rock climbing that you're thinking of. When you think of rock climbing, you probably think of tall walls, two people, one bracing at the bottom, and long cable, harnesses, things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I am going to be talking about bouldering. So what is bouldering and how is it different from top roping, which is the rock climbing you're probably thinking of? Bouldering is a type of rock climbing that's done without a harness. It's lower walls, usually about 12 to 15 feet. It's got big mats that you can arrange below you, and they're movable. You can put them wherever you need. And it also doesn't require a partner. I'd say it is a solo activity. The climbing itself is solo, but it's a very social activity. Instead of climbing up a route, it's called a problem. Your goal is to get from the beginning to the end, and it's called solving the problem. The problems can be vertical, horizontal, diagonal, they can curve, kind of whatever direction. How does bouldering work? There's kind of two things. There's the difficulty levels, which in the US is ranked from VB, which is beginner, to V17, which I've never actually seen. There's some flexibility within the grading. For example, a V0 plus or V2 minus. A lot of that has to do with the height of the climber. So what would be a V0 for me, who's 5'5", would be not a V0 for someone who is 4'10". And then the grading is based solely on the physical difficulty, not the fear or the danger. I'm afraid of heights. An easy climb is going to be terrifying to me just because I'm up in the air, but it's still going to be a V0. And then low difficulty problems have easy to grip handholds, large footholds, obvious moves, kind of a lot of options for where you can put your hands and feet and how to move your body. And then higher difficulty problems sometimes look impossible until you've seen someone do it. And honestly, they sometimes look impossible after you've seen someone do it. I have seen some that I've watched them done a dozen times and still have no idea how I have no idea. So the climbing itself, the holds are indicated either by the color of the rock or by the color of the tape that is attached to the rock. That's just a preference of the climbing gym. You start with both hands on the first hold, and the goal is to end with both hands on the last hold. If you only get one hand on that last hold, it does not count as done. Because the first and last holds are usually indicated by two pieces of tape telling you that's where both hands have to go. There are actually a couple types of walls. There's slab or vertical face, which are usually used interchangeably. Slab is slightly less than 90 degrees. You're leaning just a little bit forward. Vertical is exactly 90 degrees. It's almost irrelevant, the difference. It just feels a little different when you're in the air. And an overhang is a wall that's more than 90 degrees. It's not necessarily one that you're hanging upside down on, but you are leaning back. When you go to learn how to climb, the first thing they're going to teach you is how to fall, because you will fall and you will probably fall a lot. Climbing tape is your absolute best friend. that and new skin, but I like climbing tape better. It is tight tape that protects your skin until you form the calluses that you get from climbing. And it goes on tight so that the flexibility in your fingers is still there, but you can not be bleeding everywhere. The shoes feel super weird at first. They're kind of like bowling shoes where you get used to them given time. And then last and probably the most important thing to learn is it is possible to get hurt even if you do everything correctly. And I do know that from experience. And that's it. That's kind of a crash course in bouldering, no pun intended, because walls are meant for climbing. And yeah, that's a picture of me the very first time I made it to the top of a climb.
There you are. That's fantastic.
That's awesome, but Sarah, thank you for sharing. When was the last time you were able to go? Is this something you can do during COVID, or?
You can do it during COVID. My climbing gym has been open since, I think we reopened in June or July. I went once. I have a hard time wearing a mask, and we're required to wear a mask the whole time you're there because there are other people around. Not close, but there are other people. But it was one level of stress too many for me. Between the actual climbing, the fear of falling, the fear of heights, and the mask, I am willing to wait until
Yes.
it is, I go back down to the normal stress levels.
Sensible.
Is there an outdoor component to this, or is it always inside?
No, there is outdoor bouldering. I don't do it. Outdoor bouldering, the difficulty rankings are completely different. They're still graded the same way, but a V0 outside, which is a pretty easy climb indoors, is probably closer to a V4 or 5 because you're using the natural environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just someone doesn't practice on it and make sure that it's doable.
You talked about having a fear of heights.
Mm-hmm.
With fear of heights, I can't even go by a high-rise building and look out a window. How do you keep from getting scared?
I don't keep from getting scared. I am terrified most of the time I'm climbing. It is, for me, more of a mental exercise than a physical one. It's a great workout physically, but there is something powerful when you beat yourself.
I have kind of a weird question.
Sure.
Okay, this probably sounds really bad from a hygienic perspective, but do people ever boulder barefoot?
Yes.
Because I got some crazy flexible monkey toes going on, and that would make my whole attempt a lot easier.
No, and you can boulder barefoot. I have seen videos of people doing it. I have never actually seen somebody. For me, the shoes actually help with the grip, but I don't have monkey toes, so.
So you're afraid of heights. What drew you to rock climbing in the first place?
My brother has been climbing for years, and he always talked about it, and I was curious. He invited me to watch one day, and I wanted to try it, just to see if I could. And I think I was hooked within about half an hour.
I didn't see any ropes involved. So if you're going really high up, how does that work?
That's the main difference between bouldering and top roping, which is the one with the ropes. Bouldering is just a lower wall. So the highest you're really going to be off the ground is about 12 feet, which sounds very high. But when you're talking about padding, that's a good 9 inches tall. It's not as bad as it sounds. I have jumped off walls and landed safely.
I'll take your word for it. 9 feet sounds like a lot.
It is.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
I think I might put that on my to-do list after we can go to do things.
I was taught how to do some bouldering during a film many years ago. One of the things that was really difficult was when your fear got to such a degree that your body involuntarily started to shake. It was a real problem. You get this Elvis, what we call the Elvis leg, which just kept on doing that kind of Elvis move, and you just can't help but you just have to try and hang on. You get too scared to go up and too scared to go back down.
Been there, done that. For me, it's less shaking and more freezing up, where you're too scared to even let go to jump down. You learn to get over it, but it's when I say it's more of a mental exercise than a physical one, it is.
Yeah.
I got stuck on the roof of my house a couple of years ago. I was patching it up, and I just couldn't even get my foot to go on the rung of the ladder.
Yeah.
Nope. I'll just live up here now. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. We really appreciated you sharing that hobby with us.
Thank you.
We have several birthdays that we want to get to today. So, Alicia.
Hello.
Here she is.
Hello. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
When is it? Is it today?
It was yesterday. It was
Oh,
yesterday.
happy birthday. Happy birthday. Can everyone say happy birthday?
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I celebrated by watching the finale of DS9 and it hurt in so many ways. So yeah. And then I had to go to a Zoom party afterwards and I was just emotionally shut off from it. So that...
Was it a Zoom party for you, for your birthday?
Yeah.
No,
yeah, it was a lot of fun, but everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine."
Yeah, you can't really say I just watched a TV show and it made me upset.
I did have to tell them that, so it was a bit awkward at times, but I think they understood. They're used to me kind of getting overly involved in TV shows. So
where are you?
I'm in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, England.
Oh yes.
And it's very, very cold. We've got the heating on and it's still really cold. -4 outside. There's still bits of snow. Everyone, all my relatives down south are really jealous because they love the snow, but we're over it up here. We're done.
Yes, it's great for a couple of minutes, and then it's sort of when it first lands, it's magical, and then it starts to wear out. It's like, okay, we're done now. This is a week later, and I don't want to dig my way out of here again. What makes you happy? What's the thing? You watch Deep Space?
Obviously, yeah. Well, I live with my sister, and we're both massive. Well, yeah, both kind of. Yeah.
I'm staying out the way. It's her big day. I'm being very.
So you live together.
Yeah,
I'm the responsible.
You are the responsible one, and she's
well,
what?
yeah. Oh, I'm 26. You're.
How old am I?
32.
33.
33. Oh.
I don't know. I lost count at 30.
You're ancient.
I am like the friendship group grandma. You know, somebody who goes around, turns into the babushka I always threaten to be.
Yeah.
Feeding people pierogi, if they sit still long enough.
Yeah.
I believe you. Have you been hanging out for the whole COVID, for the whole period?
Yeah. We're locked down properly. Well, as properly as the UK has been.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere non-essential. I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home. You're furloughed.
Yeah, I've been furloughed since late January. So
for the
third time, I've been going in and out of work. I work in premium beauty. I work for like a skincare and cosmetics company. And they try to sort of make out that it's essential, but it's really not. Skincare is not essential, I'm afraid.
Well, thank you for admitting that. It's essential to some people. Well, you can buy it online. You don't need someone there to talk you through it. Always.
Don't get you out of the job.
Oh, it's true. But yeah.
I don't really understand. What does furlough mean exactly? Because I've heard it said a lot.
So the government will pay up to, I believe it is 80% of your salary if your employer considers you on furlough. That is to say, they do not have work for you at present, but will keep your contract going during COVID. On the proviso that they don't fire you for 3 months after. That is the rules. People are not sticking to them.
Not at all.
It's been emotional.
Yeah,
like we've not had a hug from our parents since
I don't know,
February, March,
something like that.
Like I don't miss a lot of things, but you miss family.
Yeah,
and that's the hardest thing. Luckily, we've got each other.
Yeah,
and a cat.
How have you managed? What's got you by? I mean, obviously, you said
binge watching Trek, and you just getting overexcited about everything.
Yeah, everything. I do a lot. I do drawing. You do knitting and crochet. You feel a bit like a kind of Jane Austen protagonist, sort of doing all these crafts to keep you busy because there's nothing else to do.
Pining by the window while the plague's outside.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been really tough because a lot of my friends are in the city as well, and you know, I've got them all over the world, but I see them as much as I saw them when they were living in a different continent, even though they're only down the road or something, because you can't see anyone. It's been tough in that sense, and you kind of forget how to socialize to a degree, but.
what I love is the fact that you're sisters, right? So you spent most of your lives hanging out with each other. And you love hanging out, you appear to love hanging out with each other still, which I think is a really happy story.
You can call it Stockholm syndrome, if you like, which isn't even a real diagnosis, but you know, it's just kind of, I think we're quite a close family anyway.
Yeah, a bit of a clan.
We would have kind of similar interests to an extent, and was I the one that introduced you to Trek?
Yeah, you were. Yeah. So it's your fault.
It's all my fault. Yeah. I regret nothing. I regret absolutely nothing.
You kind of introduced me to a lot of things that people are like, oh, no, like anime and stuff like that.
Hey, I wasn't responsible for that. That's
okay,
Stefan.
We have a brother, so yeah.
He's in London. He's on his own, and it's much worse for him because he's stuck in London in a one-bedroom flat, and he's not got anyone there. Like, our relatives can't go and see him. They used to do that.
Unless you're loaded. I think London's kind of quite a depressing place anyway. You know,
it's soulless.
Some people who love it.
Oh, I mean, it's brilliant. There's so much there.
I couldn't stay there long.
But yeah, you can kind of get lost there.
Like, the really nice thing about where we live, it's got quite a regional character. If anyone around here knows about Yorkshire, they've got an accent where it's like Chicken Run.
But yeah,
it's very much like a big village.
Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah. And you get on a bus, and there can be a chap with like driving the bus who looks salt to the earth, and he'll look at you up and down, no matter what gender you're like, all right, duck.
Yeah, it's
and that's
really
just
nice.
what you do.
And it's crazy how interlinked.
Yeah.
Lancashire. Boo. I had to cover at a different store for my company. There was someone in the stall opposite me, and we found out that her sister was a professor at the university I was at. So it was really strange. Like, we were all so interlinked that, you know, we'd never met, and yet we could describe, oh, do you know this person? Yes, I know that person, because everyone's just so close.
Everyone knows someone. Funniest thing I found out from her working in beauty is, you imagine all the people on the beauty counter.
Oh, I was terrified.
We don't talk to you.
Yeah, I thought they'd all shun me because I'm a nerd and all that. And I was absolutely shaking when I was going in for my first day. They're actually massive nerd. Well, everyone's a bit weird, so I was fine.
Yeah, they all talk about anime and stuff.
Yeah, and fantasy. And I've not yet to find another Trekkie, but I'm kind of I'm working on like bullying people into watching it. So
when you're working in did you call it high beauty, something like that? You said
premium beauty.
Premium. When you worked in premium beauty, I'm thinking of high fashion, so it's the same thing, but it's haute beauty. When you worked in that, were you in a shop where people came in just for that, or were you on a shop floor with a couple of other competitors?
Oh, I was on a shop floor for a well-known British chemist, which shan't be named.
The well-known British chemist called Slippers.
No.
It's shan't be named.
Shan't be named.
It's the funniest slip of the tongue, if you know what I mean.
But yeah, basically it's me and different sort of beauty companies around me, and you know, everyone's sort of friends of everyone and knows everyone, and it's a bit of a kind of clannish
living sitcom.
If anyone's ever seen what's that film we watched?
There's been many.
Oh, Clerks.
Yeah, it's basically Clerks, but with more lipstick.
Yeah, basically. And it's brilliant. It's a lot of fun. Terrible pay, and I recently graduated from university, and I'm just sort of like, I don't know what to do with myself. So they were all like, "Why are you here? This has nothing to do with your degree." But
what was your degree?
It's so much fun.
What was your degree?
I actually did my degree in East Asian Studies, minoring in Japanese.
Oh yeah,
which was
absolutely nothing to do with your degree. So what were you going to do with? Why did you settle on? Because that's a fascinating subject for a degree, that way.
So my initial plan was I was going to move to East Asia and teach English for a bit because I had friends who did that and loved it. But basically, when I graduated during the pandemic, and there's not really much chance of going anywhere. It's nice to have a break from academia because it's been
your life since you were 3.
Yeah, I've been in education one way or another for so long.
So this is your gap year.
Yeah, it's sort of like a strange sabbatical of sorts.
I've been on a gap year for 15 years.
What are you going to do? What plan are you hatching that you can utilize this degree, or do you think you're kind of over that subject?
I'm not 100% sure because I have loads of friends who are going down a completely different path now, but I'm thinking potentially teaching English in East Asia, or because I've really enjoyed working in premium beauty, seeing if I could get a job in the head office using some of the language skills that I have, or something like that. Because East Asia is a huge market, and it's lots of fun. And
or you could do something completely different.
I don't know yet. I have no idea what's going.
Your language skills, and your, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. You must be very thick-skinned, because if you work in premium beauty,
that's just the foundation.
What's that? Sorry.
You spend your day getting 80% of the time rejected by people going, no thanks, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working in retail since I was a teenager, so you just you have a sort of routine phrase, and a lot of the time you're just standing there smiling, and eventually someone will turn up, and so people book in things. And we have lots of little old ladies who, for them, it's sort of like socializing almost. They come out specifically to these places to get that, to talk to people, and I love it because I like talking to random people anyway, and they love it because they're out the house. So that's another thing that's been really hard about the pandemic, has been people just aren't seeing, they've lost that.
As an example, like you can't go out the house, you can't meet people, so we've been doing, you can leave it for one exercise a day. Right. So we've been going on walks nearby, and there's a lady called Doreen, who is, how old is she?
91.
91, and she lives in a house that's sort of for the bottom, bit further out, because we live on the edge of the city towards what's called the Peak District. Funny you should mention bouldering. Lots of that happens there.
Yeah.
Without shoes. But she just stands at a gate waiting for someone to come by, because there's and she'll stop and chat to you because she's got no one else to talk to. Right. And the police community spotters like, oh, Dory, get back in your house, it's not safe. But she just wants to chat.
Yeah.
About anything.
Yeah, she'll talk about
She's
anything.
Lovely.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah. So we try and pop by.
Yeah.
So you have people coming into your makeup chair, and they would come in there knowing they weren't going to buy anything, and they weren't going to buy anything. They just wanted to chat and maybe look good for something else that they want to do in about 10 minutes. Because if I might come in, if I had an audition, I'd just sit down, put me out, I'm off, thank you, bye. My grandma was born in Yorkshire. It is beautiful. She loved the whole county, and I think Malcolm was also born in. I think he was born in Yorkshire. I'd probably have to look that up. My uncle was born there, and my mum was in Cheshire. They all had your accent. Malcolm did growing up, and my grandmother always did. She always had your accent. Well, an old-fashioned version of it. Do you remember what it used to sound like?
Yeah. Now look here, though. The thing that I don't think people who aren't from England understand is that, or the UK, is that you can tell the difference of where someone lives within 40 miles. I can tell you whether someone lives in this city or this city with that hickey.
Yeah.
We think our country is big. It's not.
It's tiny.
It's just overcomplicated.
Yeah. And we grew up in Bradford, and you could tell the difference between one little bit of Bradford and another side of Bradford purely by how they said one word.
Yeah, I think my grandmother and grandfather were using, thee and thy,
Ah, yes. That'll be right.
That'll be
right.
You'll be okay.
You'll be okay. Yeah, basically.
I'm saying that a lot. She has brought for show and tell.
Oh, well, I made this from
she doesn't just paint faces.
A pottery thing. I made a coaster of a D&D character, Dungeons and Dragons character I played.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
so that's...
If I hold that, you can grab it.
Yeah, grab a sketchbook.
She just wants to show everyone her work.
It's fine. It's just lots of pictures of data, because he's really easy to draw. I'm sorry, Sid, but you're a bit more tricky. It's still a work in progress. You certainly can see it there.
Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, my goodness. They're really good.
Thank you.
They are terrific. You flashed it so quickly, we didn't really get a good look. Wobbling around all over the place. There we go.
I feel like someone's grandma on Zoom going through this.
Oh, yeah.
It does, yeah.
You've really caught Brent Spiner there.
He's quite easy to draw. I find him quite easy to draw.
But then he's a mime artist, so you kind of that helps.
Yeah, it does.
Really lovely. It's really cool. We really love your stuff. It's really cool. Well, listen, thank you. I'm going to move on, because even though it's your birthday, because we've got so many people whose birthday it is today, thank you very, very much. Both of you. Want you back.
So much for having us.
Really
Cheers.
want you.
Thank you.
Our next birthday is Rin.
Hello, Rin.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It was
Everybody
yesterday.
knows what to do.
Happy
It's today.
birthday, Rin.
Happy
birthday,
birthday.
I don't think I've ever had that many people wish me happy birthday before.
No, good. Well, they will. They now you have. We've talked before. You were.
No, I'm new here. I'm
new here. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I've been here for a few weeks, but I haven't talked yet.
Oh, fantastic. And what's going on behind you? Because I see all sorts of interesting bits.
God, there's a lot of stuff behind me. I do a lot of art. There's a painting I'm working on.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. Can we see that painting a little bit more? Because it looks pretty great.
Sure. It's not finished, but it is. It's a picture of my papa's boat that we used to go sailing on. He sold it a few years ago.
Accomplished. Wow.
I actually have some more of my art here because I wanted to show it.
I want to see it. We all do.
I've got a dude that I painted the other day because I've been doing a lot of painting over quarantine.
And are you learning the colors, learning how to use the word color? Is that what you feel?
I guess. I've been doing a lot of art for a while, so.
Really, that
There's
delight.
another thing.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then I also did this for my art class, which is a self-portrait, but I gave myself trill spots because I am bisexual and Jadzia is very obviously bisexual.
Absolutely. How fantastic.
Yeah.
And what I love is the total different technique and style of every one of your paintings.
Thank you.
You go from one thing to another. And did you paint up on the shelf above you, behind you, on the wall as well?
Yeah, there's a snail. It's from like 3 years ago, but it's up there because it's really big and I have nowhere to put it.
You are like a chameleon.
I do all sorts of things.
All kinds of different things.
They're markers. I have a lot of them.
Okay. Really happy to know that. Good. That's what.
Yeah, my background's a bit exciting.
It is. It really is. It's not deficient in any way. It's not like mine. It's kind of really boring ones. I gave a lot of thought to this when I first started. It's like, I'm not going to put anything behind me really, so that no one knows anything. And that, in the end, seemed to be pointless because I tell everybody everything anyway. Are you still at school?
Yeah, I'm in my last year of high school, which is interesting because COVID, it's not how our last year of high school was supposed to go.
No way.
I'm in Canada. I'm in British Columbia. So we have less restrictions than other places right now because we've been doing okay. So we are going into school, but everything is like really weird and we all have to be 6 feet apart at all times. And we all have to wear masks like almost all the time. And it's very weird for last year.
Absolutely. In a way, it's sort of weirder than if you were doing it from home. Because
exactly.
It's artificial that you're there. I mean, at least when you're at home, you know you're not at school. But when you're at school, you're there in the atmosphere with the people you know, but it's like aliens took over.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very odd.
Oh, but how's the learning? How's that? Well, that side of it is that still good, or is that dragging? Is that difficult to get the hang of that?
I've had a really hard time personally. I know some people are doing like just fine. Like a lot of my friends are just getting their normal stuff done, but I have like dropped several classes because I just cannot handle the stress of being there. Like it is too much. But I managed to get through I just got through my second quarter of the school year, so I got through.
Congratulations! I don't think I could do it. I don't think I would be able to do it. Not my character in this school under those circumstances, because it was touch and go whether I'd succeed academically anyway as a kid. And if I had a little push one way or the other, I would have crawled into my shell and just not produced. But you clearly are doing loads of great stuff. What do you want to do with all this? I mean, you don't have to have. I always ask people this, and they 80% of the time don't know, which is probably a pretty good answer. So there's no real answer. What do you think? What direction is your head moving?
Well, I'm hopefully going to be going to university next year for jazz studies, but I don't know how that's going to happen.
It'll happen.
Because I do.
That's
a
great.
lot
Yeah.
of jazz stuff at school. Like I'm in like all the music stuff. And I'm supposed to be going into jazz studies for like vocal jazz, but if it's still online next year, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like,
so you sing,
mhm.
and you play as well, or you sing?
Yeah, I
You
play saxophone and piano.
Oh my goodness! Why didn't we figure that out earlier? Because we could have had you doing it. I could have twisted your. You'll join a little cohort of superstars we have who are happy to do their own thing. Been really cool. And you identified as bisexual very proudly, I noticed, and I love that. That was really cool. What is that like at school? Is it very forgiving environment? I guess
Well,
right
I'm
now.
in Canada, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I guess it's interesting because I'm sort of a part of two different groups of people at school. Like, you know how in high school there'll be little groups that don't really talk to each other. I'm sort of in between. Like, half of my friends are all like mostly LGBT. Like, I have a lot of trans and non-binary friends, and they're all super chill. But then I have like this other half of my friend group that's like all guys who play jazz because they're the only people who play jazz at the school. And they kind of like make fun of LGBT people, but not in like a harmful way, but they still do it, and it's not very fun, but I have to put up with them because I want to be doing jazz. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
People say kids especially, everything's gay, you know, and that's really gay. That's really that's my experience.
It's funny because if somebody calls something gay in one friend group, it's like, oh, you shouldn't be saying that, that's mean. And in the other friend group, it's like, haha, yeah, that is gay.
That must be so confusing.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I actually am old enough, and there are a few of us here who the word gay was absolutely not, and it had nothing to do with sexuality. It was just happy, and so it's kind of weird how that whole thing has taken off. I suppose that counts as one of those microaggressive words.
Yeah.
But it can be super aggressive if it's not in the right hands.
For sure.
Yeah. So you've got a pretty cool school by the sounds of things, with like
it's pretty cool
out groups, you know, really effervescent, lots of people just being very honest about who they are. That's not my experience of school at all, so I'm jealous of that.
It's pretty new to be like that. Like, I don't think even like 10 years ago it would have been like the way I'm living high school right now.
Yeah, that's just great. That gives hope, so much hope for the future, because you'd think there's no turning back, because you guys have all set precedent, and then you will go on, some of you to have kids to go to school and expect that absolutely without any shadow of a doubt. Good. Way to go, Canada. And do you listen to music? Is that one of your things? Or
I listen to a lot of music, and I do a lot of art.
Tell me someone you think is wonderful, someone who you think expresses jazz in a way that someone else should hear. Give us
this is a really, really weird one to say, but because she's a pop singer now, but her earlier albums were more jazz influenced. I really like Regina Spektor, because I don't know, her original. Sorry, I just saw a comment in the chat that made me feel good. Thank you, whoever said I look like Keira Knightley. Okay.
Yeah, dangerous to look at the chat.
Okay, well, what was I saying? Regina Spektor. I really like her early work because she does this sort of mix of jazz and whatever classical stuff she was trained doing. And it's just I like to like learn every little lick that she sings in her songs so that I can do them all.
That's fantastic. That's really great. And who do you learn from on saxophone?
I'm not sure who my favorite saxophonist would be. I genuinely don't listen to a lot of saxophonists. I end up listening to trumpet players more, even though I don't play trumpet.
Okay. Like, see, I don't know anything really about jazz. My mum was good friends with a British jazz singer called George Melly when I was a little boy, and we had a lot of his albums. Other than that, you know, just the Brubeck and the Miles Davises of the world, the ones that you're supposed to listen to, so that I could say I listened to them. I didn't really. I mean, there is something absolutely exquisite about both of them if I'm in the right frame of mind, and I think that's the case with just about all kinds of music. But I love that Regina Spektor, everybody. You must look up Regina Spektor. Listen to her early stuff, not her.
I recommend her album 1111. It's very good.
Oh, that's what we wanted. How do you teach jazz at university? Is it the same as the classical music scene where they make you formally learn music and keys and work out how to compose, etc.?
It's a bit different, but there's some similar stuff to what classical music is like. It's similar in the way that you are learning like some of the basic things. Like they have there's a keyboard skills class so that you can know the basics of like playing piano and stuff. Yeah. But there's also a lot of improvisation classes that you'll take. Because the thing about jazz that makes it so different from classical music is the improvisation, because you don't really do that in classical. You don't just kind of do stuff.
Yeah. I watched last night, in fact, a documentary on the Grateful Dead, 60s Haight Ashbury band. They do a lot of improvisation, very like jazz. And in fact it is, but it's kind of psychedelic jazz. And drummer said something really cool. He said, I don't drum to time. I'm terrible at keeping time, which is kind of weird because I'm a drummer, but I can drum to feeling. And so I drum a feeling and I don't drum time. And that I thought was brilliant line. I thought it was a wonderful thought.
That's really cool, actually.
Just so lovely to talk to you.
All right, our next birthday is Anna.
Hello.
Thank you.
If you ever pluck up the courage, come and do some jazz. We love it.
I'll see.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you, and happy birthday. Everyone's just so brilliant.
All right, our next birthday is Anna.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Anna. You look like you've got lots of stuff behind you. I'm always curious.
Stuff.
You have a Batman bear.
I have a Batman pillow on a bear.
Oh, that's what it is. I thought that was a Batman t-shirt on a bear.
Oh, funny.
Where are you, Anna?
We are in Austria.
Oh, fantastic! And where are you? You're with
this is
someone.
my sister.
You're my sister. Hello.
I'm Monica.
Monica, lovely to meet you.
Not really important. My sister's birthday is
because
tomorrow.
it's your birthday, Anna. Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, well, everybody has to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Anna.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Coming in late. Do you have a plan? Do you going to do anything that is amusing or fun?
Well, we already did something yesterday. We're playing Among Us, so we're killing our friends.
Okay. It would be very funny if that was actually what was happening and we were all laughing about it.
Yeah, that's in the game.
Whoa. Okay. And what is the game? What does it entail?
Basically, you're like a crew of little spacemen, and you're on a station or a ship, and you have to do certain tasks, but one or two of you are imposters who have to kill everyone else.
Wow. and how do you start the game? Do you sort of go, right, I'm going to be, how do you know who the imposter is?
Well, it's a video game, so the game tells you the imposter.
It tells you. Oh, okay, that's much better. I thought you were literally running around going, I'm going to be the imposter. No, you can't be there. You were the imposter last time. Okay, that makes much more sense. And how are you? How have you been doing during all this time?
Okay, I guess.
Okay, I guess isn't great, is it?
It's weird to say, but the situation is, for me, not so bad because I have a lot of anxieties and going outside is scary. And right now there is no pressure to go outside.
Yeah. And a lot of us are like that in the club, in this room. A lot of people, because I've asked that question to a lot of people, and a lot of people have said, for me, it's not so bad. This has been okay. I'm relaxed at home. I'm okay here. Do you live with your family? You've got
my parents, my sister. We have 2 cats.
Have you been locked down, or are you allowed out anyway? Do other people go out? Do you go out at all? The family go out, or you need to stay in because the disease is bad?
Keeps changing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it does add a level of anxiety. That I find the disease itself is a level of anxiety, mainly because it makes people behave differently. If you have trouble being okay with people's behavior, whenever they keep changing their behavior, it's even more anxious making because you really don't know what's going on. I spend a lot of time inside. I'm about to go and do some work for the first time in 14 months. And I'm really, really not happy about the idea of getting on an airplane and going to, Frankfurt, and then getting on another airplane and going to Estonia. I'll be talking to you from when I get there, so I'll let you know how I did, because I'll get into a hotel room and I'll have to be in quarantine for, I don't know, 10 days. What do you do that you love doing, apart from obviously killing lots of people?
Well, recently, we're gamers, so my sister has been playing The Witcher 3, so I've watched her kill lots of people.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a really amazing game. I haven't played it, but I've watched someone playing it. I thought it was really great. Sometimes it's just great to watch someone play a game. Isn't that funny? It's like, how does that compute? But I've spent hours watching people play games. It's been amusing. As long as I'm in the room with them. I don't like watching Twitch. Do you watch Twitch?
I do sometimes, but it's a lot more fun watching her and actually being able to interfere.
Yeah, but I'm a terrible player. I run into things and I overlook things. Just I can't see everything, and I'm
jumping off cliffs to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I do like to experience.
But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to look under every box, look into everything, break every can or whatever it is, and see if it gives you something. Yeah.
Get murdered by guards because they saw you.
Is your family well? Have your parents been okay? They haven't had COVID.
Fortunately, we've been okay.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Yeah, that's really
knock on wood.
Knock on. Yeah, okay. I'm playing Destiny 2 right now. Kind of finding that really good fun. It's pretty hardcore because it's multiplayer and you've got to stay afloat with these 10-year-olds, and they tend to, wipe the floor with you.
It's actually very brave of you to play that kind of thing, because I don't dare. I don't dare.
It's therapy. I find it therapeutic to be beaten so thoroughly, so destroyed, that I am humiliated on almost every 10 minutes. It's very therapeutic. Or I do something. It's meant to be cooperative, and I'm just the weak link. I'm the one person who's not making the jump everyone else is supposed to make, not hitting the target everyone else. The trouble with Destiny, and maybe this is not going to sell it to you, is that entire hour-long projects, raids, are based on certain things happening in a perfect order, a mechanism. So someone has to hit that, and then someone has to land on this, and then someone has to hit that. And if someone doesn't do one of those, everybody has to start again, and the hour is wasted. So it gets to me, and I'm like, what am I supposed to? Oh, I'm dead. What gets you going? What excites you?
I like to read. I like to write. I actually wanted to show you something I made.
Oh my goodness, it's a small cheer. He's very cute.
These little men out of felt.
It's very cute. What do you do with them? Are they just sticking pins in?
No. Usually I hang them up somewhere. I give them to people as presents.
They're really cute, really lovely. It's gorgeous.
I also have like these little gingerbread guys that I made.
How do you make them?
I cut the shapes out of felt and then I sew them together.
And then you stuff them with stuff?
Yeah, with little, it's like, sort of like cotton wool sort of thing.
Yeah. It just occurred to me that stuff is what's in them, because they're stuffed. Sorry, I'm just going on a strange mind trip where the meaning of the word stuff is just all kinds of extra dimensions for me. That's like a kind of cotton acrylic stuff.
Yeah.
Very nice. Wow.
Filling fiber.
Filling fiber.
Filling
Say
fiber.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in Austria it says that. What do they call it? A word in Austrian?
German. Füllwatte.
Okay. All right. Is there excuse my ignorance, is there a difference in language between Austria and Germany?
Yeah, it's like British English and American English, sort of.
Okay, so yeah, you have to be bilingual. There are certain, and the whole cultural way of thinking.
It's not quite that bad. It's just the accent is different, and well, it's regional, of course, but generally, there's certain words, and she gets really, what do you say?
Anal?
Yeah. Like, I'll use German words when there's another word I should be using, and she doesn't like it.
No, quite right. Quite right.
It's quite funny.
Right.
For example, potato. Potato in German is Kartoffel. Potato for Austrians is Erdäpfel.
And you actually just want people saying Erdäpfel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's so beautiful. It's such a lovely word.
Sorry, you just said that really well. You just said that really well.
Thank you. I listened to her. I was told how to say it, and I said it. Thank you very much for noting. Your relationship is probably really wonderful because you have that tiny little chalk and cheese thing happening between you. I'm just really curious about this wonderful relationship you appear to have. We've got two sets of sisters on today's show who are just lovely together. I'm interested in your contrasts. When you know that you're going to get your sister's going to be upset about grammar, what upsets you about her? Nothing heavy.
She's very bossy.
There you go. That's it. That's all we needed to know.
Yeah, I am. I can't.
She's the tidy one in the family, and everyone else is a bit messy. So she gets angry at us a lot.
My wife is like her. My wife is the tidy one. She's the one who's really prickly about grammar. Everything has to be just like it should be. And yeah, it's upsetting when it isn't. You know that.
Yes.
My wife has a thing about the plate in light switches. Do I have a light switch here? Yeah. See this plate where the light switch is? There's little screws here on top and bottom, and the screws have to be horizontal. And if they're vertical, she doesn't like that. She's really that's not cool. They have to be the same. The trouble in rooms where things aren't quite one way the same as the others. And so I totally understand. All the screws horizontal. That's brilliant. And what would you normally be doing on your birthday? Do you have a special meal? Do your parents like to cook?
The thing that I usually want for my birthday doesn't actually need to be cooked. It's like, how do we describe that?
We call it Spießer.
It's like sort of like imagine sort of like a sandwich. You take like a long thin bread thing, and you slice it horizontally, so you have these little bits of bread.
Yeah.
And you put like cheese and whatever on there, and then you stick a little plastic colorful poker thing in there.
Yeah.
And you have lots of those, so it's like little bite-sized.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, like little canopies, like little luxury bit.
Sure.
It's like that, but I'm not sure if you can see it.
Oh yeah, I can see that. That's yeah, absolutely. Actually, kind of makes me hungry. Little bites of delicious things at every cup, whenever you feel like it. It's the perfect way to eat.
It's very tasty. It's just one of those things that our family does.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a thing, but it's something we do.
Yeah, I think it's a thing. I think there's even a word for it, the canapé. Amuse-bouche, I guess the French might say. I don't know if they mean it quite that way. They might mean it in some other way. I don't know. But I'm just really happy to have talked to you. You've made my day to find two lovely families today who are both on the camera at the same time. I love it when families are lovely. I know that everybody has lovely families. Well, not everybody, but it's lovely to see some. Thank you very much for coming in, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you both. It was lovely to meet you finally. We're going to do one more birthday shout out, and that is to Casey.
Absolutely.
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah, we can't miss that.
I tell you these things, I didn't expect you to write them down.
You've gotten rid of your baby? Did you sell? Or did you just lend?
I just lent. There's a walker that it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Happy birthday, dear one.
Thank you.
Everybody has to come.
Happy
and say
birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Днем рождения.
Oh, that's really wonderful. How are you doing? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm sunk in a half collapsed chair because I didn't think that I was gonna get a birthday shout out.
You definitely were going to get a birthday shout out. Mel was had told me whatever happens, we're going to get to as many everybody.
I really have nothing to talk about. I was just kind of chilling.
That's all good. That's all good. That's all good. I'm surprised you're even awake. I'm amazed that you have time for all the things you do. It's amazing.
It's fun.
When is it today? Tomorrow?
It was yesterday.
The
11th.
That's just as good. Did anything special? Did you do anything? Was there anything different about yesterday compared to the day before?
I made a birthday cake with my 5-year-old. It was very exciting.
Fantastic. You've got a 5-year-old as well, because I always think mums have several birthdays because you've given birth. That's a birthday, and you were given birth too, and that's also a birthday. So you've got probably at least 3 birthdays every year. Except 2 of them.
I mean that's one theory.
It is. I mean,
I like it.
Being literal.
That is true. That is true. Oh, I got a desk. So my office is no longer also the bed, which is very exciting.
That is very exciting. Your back will be very, very grateful.
I'm not going to be like, I'm a professional.
You got your desk. That's lovely. I've got a desk. It's one of the most important things. I have a whole office.
You do.
That's how luxurious that my life is. Yeah, absolutely. This is my office. Well, I love saying happy birthday to you. And
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't always remember that you have at least 2 other birthdays this year. I know your kids are going to claim them, but they were actually yours.
It's true. I get to do fun things for kids on those days, though. It's very exciting to do things for. I'm a Watson. I'm not. I follow around other people and make sure they don't like die or get eaten by the internet or things like that.
That will not stop so long. Yeah, they will be constantly trying to kill themselves for many, many years. We just have to stop that happening.
Yeah.
And the internet, goodness knows what that. Who knows in 5 years what that's going to be like? It would be like this today. I mean, mind blown.
If you had stopped me on the street in February of 2020 and gone, hey, you know what you're going to be doing in a year?
Yes, exactly. And do you know what you would have been doing every week for that whole time?
Yeah. You want to know what you're going to start doing in about 6 weeks, and
exactly. You're going to hang out with all these very unusual people on little boxes.
Amazing people.
It's lovely to say hi again.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I have 4 shades of red.
Yeah.
I have not.
Good, quite right.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Thank you.
Sid alluded to this earlier that he is taking off soon for work. So we'll have about 3 weeks.
Yes, I think so. We're negotiating right now, but because of course when they first offered me the work, they said it's 3 weeks, and now when I see the paperwork, it says it's 8 weeks. I'm like, no, you said 3 weeks. So I'll get back to you. I'll tell you how much it is.
We're working on alternate plans to keep the social club going and keep Sid's seat warm until he's back with us. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, have a great weekend.
Have a lovely weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Safe travel, Sid.
Safe travel.
Thanks.
Good night, nerds.
Bye.
Bye.
Night, nerds.